Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to replace the audio board, 3.5mm jack, as well as the power button board and the, this is the right speaker, I believe. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to open the bottom, but let's go ahead and get some screenshots here for a thumbnail. Okay. Alright, let's flip this over. So the screws were already removed by the customer. This laptop had some liquid damage. I already took it all apart, cleaned it up, and it turned on, but not with this board connected. This board had really bad corrosion on it, and yeah, basically we will replace that board and hopefully that will fix the rest of it. Alright, anyways, once you get all these screws out using a P5 or Pentalobe 1.2 screwdriver, you just pop the bottom cover off. I go under here with my fingernails and then push down there and pull up like this. And there we go, the bottom cover comes off really easily. Alright, so for this, you do want to keep the screws in order because they are different size, shape, and length. Same thing with all other computers. But basically, the two screws in the middle back here, they have a longer, like, smooth portion, but they're the same length as these, okay? These have more thread, these have more long, smooth portion, and then the rest of these screws are all pretty much the same. Alright, anyways, next thing you're gonna do is disconnect the battery. So normally the battery is latched over like this. Let me actually zoom in here to show you. Okay, so the battery we're gonna disconnect like this. I just use my fingernail at one corner here and flip this latch up just like that. Once you do that, you can lift just the very top edge of this connector up and out. Okay, once you've done that, it's always a good practice to open up the computer and then press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds to drain any residual power. All right, 15 seconds. Just do that. You can hold it longer if you want, but this will make it a lot safer to work on. Okay, some people ask if they have to do it. It's 15 seconds. If you have to ask me that, don't bother working on your computer, because 15 seconds is, that's not much time at all. All right, anyways, let's go ahead and now remove this board here. Okay, we're going to be using a T3 or Torx 3 screwdriver to remove all the screws from this silver plate. There's 3 of them. Again, keep all the screws in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths. If you're wondering how I do that, I put them flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern I remove them. Okay, so I did the same thing with the bottom cover screws as well. Alright, anyways, now that we got those screws out, we can remove this silver plate. Okay, we got a few connectors under here. There is a little adhesive underneath this. This is for the Touch ID fingerprint reader. Okay, if you damage this board and this connector is also damaged and you need to replace the power button, keep in mind that Touch ID will no longer function. The Touch ID button is paired to the logic board chips, so if you replace those, it's not going to work. Alright, next thing we're going to do, we're going to pop these connectors out. So again, I just use my fingernail underneath the edge. I know somebody's going to be like, what if I don't have fingernails? I mean, you can use pry tools or whatever, okay? Or just let your fingernails grow out. Those are free, okay? Anyways, we'll pry this up. Okay, the adhesive keeps wanting to stick down. You want to be careful when you pull up the adhesive that you're not like tearing this cable out. So you want to carefully, slowly just pull on it. Don't just quickly like try and rip it out. Okay, so we got this cable as well out. This is what connects it to the rest of the logic board. Alright, then we have the wireless antenna board, or sorry, not the wireless antenna board, the right speaker board there. Okay, to get that out, you'll want something thin, non-conductive. You don't want anything electrically conductive. And what we're going to do is we're going to get under the edge here. If you can't get under here, it helps a little bit to undo all the screws so you can move the board a little. But I just get this under there and you can see it popped up a little corner. Once you get a little corner up, again, I use my fingernail. You can use a pry tool to go underneath that and then pull it up the rest of the way, just like that. Okay, now we got to get these 2 screws out. I believe we need to switch to a larger screwdriver. Let me see, is it T5? Okay, so those 2 are T5, but let me go ahead and remove the last T3 Torx 3 screw first. So this black one here. Okay, so we'll remove that screw, set that aside, and now we'll switch over to the T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver, and we'll remove those 2 screws. Okay. It's a little bit tricky getting the piece out and the new one back in because all these cables are somewhat in the way. So yeah, just trust me, it's going to be a little tricky, but you can get it out, okay? So now what we're going to do, I'm lifting here a little bit. Again, fingernails are super useful, especially since you have like 5 of them on every single on both your hands, on each hand, all right? So we lift this up slightly. Now that we got that, we can go from this corner, and we're going to lift here. You got to pull these cables out of the way, and then also move this, rotate it so it's no longer getting caught on here. Pull these other cables again, make sure they're staying out of the way, and then wiggle it and slide it back. Once you get it, keep pulling the cables out of the way, and here we go. So this had a lot of liquid damage all over it, and pretty much it got fried. So we got a replacement one. These are at least right now in the $50-something range, okay? You can see they put little covers here on the screws. This is how they know that you actually used them. So you can either peel these things off, or you can just push the screws through it. I'm gonna peel them off because I don't like having extra stuff in there, but this stuff isn't conductive. It's basically capped on tape, little pieces, all right? So I don't know how they get these little circle kept on tape pieces, but yeah, this is how they know that you've already tried to install it and that this is their specific one. This company also wrote like okay on there, so I guess that means they tested it. All right, anyways, next thing, we're gonna have to slide this portion at an angle, and we got to get that first because it goes into the case, and you got to make sure to pull all these other pieces out of the way, okay? So we're gonna line that up, okay? So get this in there. We're gonna rotate this sideways a little to get this speaker connector past it, and then get underneath. Oops, it's hard to do this while talking and trying to guide. All right, anyways, get this in, okay? And then make sure it passes that. You can let this part go in first. Make sure it's going out of the way. Make sure these cables are up and out of the way, and drop it in. And there you go. All right, so next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna get the 2 T5 Torx 5 screws in here. I'm loosely fitting it, okay? Don't tighten it in all the way yet. And the reason is, you can see there's a little bit of play here. So once you get those screws in, you actually want to pull that in all the way as much as you can. The other option is you can actually just plug in a 3.5mm headphone, headset, whatever in there. And then while you're holding it in place, tighten these 2 screws down. Okay, now that those 2 screws are in nice and firm, we're going to go ahead and switch to the T3 Torx 3 screwdriver, and we'll put in the black screw here at the top corner. All right, tighten that in. Right, now that we got that, we're going to line these connectors up and then click those down. Make sure you get it lined up before you kind of force it down. Usually you'll know because it stays in place, and then you can go ahead and push it down. This one's a little bit tricky because you have to kind of bend it a certain way. So you bend it flat and then you kind of push it back. So like this. And okay. All right, come on. It's hard to find where it lines up. Sometimes it helps to kind of look at it from the side here, and then you can kind of see. All right. Oops, sorry. It's hard to make sure I'm holding it in view. All right, and then this cable is really easy. Just line it up and then make sure it's in, that it's clearing past the front and the back and everywhere, and then just click it down. All right, just like that. Oops, man, it's hard to make sure this is in camera, but there you go. And now we got all of these in place. Okay, make sure it's pushed in all the way. You can check by trying to pry it up lightly, and then oops, I just pried it back out. All right, and you should see that it takes some force to lift it up, and it doesn't just lift up easily. All right, so there we go. We got that in. We'll get this metal plate on top. Okay, and then we will get this screw in loosely again. Get the other one. Oops. Get this guy in loosely, and the last one here. All right, now tighten that all the way. Good. All right, next thing or last thing we gotta do is plug the battery back in before we put the bottom cover on. So this has these little L-shaped hooks here. Okay, sorry, it's gonna be hard, but basically it goes in at an angle like this, and then you pull it back. Once you pull it back, click that down, and then flip this latch over the top and click that into place. Alright, so that's pretty much it. The MacBook won't start up until you plug it in, so keep that in mind, even if the battery is charged. Once you disconnect the battery, it's gonna need to be plugged in for it to turn back on. Alright, so now we'll get the bottom cover, just line it up, give it a little CPR to click those clips in, switch back over to the P5 or Pentalobe 1.2 screwdriver bit, and then we will get those screws back in. Alright, so let's go ahead and get that. Alright, again, the ones with the longer smooth portions go into the middle here. And yeah, so let's get all these screws back in. You can actually test it before you put all the screws back in, but I'm fairly confident that that fixed it. If it didn't, then it will seem like there's logic board damage, and that I'm not going to be able to repair. But I'm pretty sure after I cleaned all the corrosion out, it should be okay, because it did power on when I plugged it in. It's just the power button wouldn't do anything. So yeah, alright, so we'll get the last few screws in, and then we will plug it in and test it out. Alright, if this video helped you out, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. If you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. I also have another channel called It's Been Reviewed and More. Same profile picture, but zoomed in because it's a close look at things. Currently, those videos are on this channel as well, but I'm hoping to move them all onto that one. So yeah, hopefully you guys can help me subscribe to that channel, and yeah, we'll be able to get that up and running. Alright, so like I said, it's usually not going to turn on at all until we plug it in. So let's go ahead and plug the charger into here, and then hopefully the thing will wake up. There you go. Trackpad's clicking and the Apple logo is on. So the only last test we gotta do is, will it respond to the power button? So now that it's on, I'm gonna go ahead and hold the power button and see if it shuts off. And it's staying, oh, there we go, it shut off. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do, I don't know if this one does the PRAM and SMC reset, but Control Option Shift on the left side, power button, okay, and then Command Option P and R while it's booting up, and okay, I pressed it too late. I don't think this one does that, but we'll see. Alright, it's booting up again, but we'll try that, and then that's pretty much all there is to it. So I'm going to shut this down one more time. Okay. Make sure it's completely off. I don't know if it's off or it's... Okay, this thing just turns itself on, so I don't know. I guess you don't even need the power button because it turns on with... what do you call? It turns on with just pressing the touchpad. Alright, I'm going to restart one last time to see if this works. I'm going to hold Command Option P and R. I'm going to keep clicking the touchpad. I can feel it click, and we'll see if the screen comes up. It did. And okay, so this doesn't do PRAM or SMC reset. So anyways, I think that's pretty much it. It looks like it's fixed. The power button does respond. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. All right, let's drop this. Bye.